Welcome to another great episode of Divine Conversations with Jessica Divine. Today, we have the beautiful, the most special hypnotherapist, author, and teacher, Neoshi Green-Kebreau. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for coming and joining us. First of all, you're amazing.
Thank you.
You're amazing. To get in contact with this woman, baby, you got to book months in advance, honey. You got to go through her agent, honey. You got to go through her security, honey. And you got to talk to her husband, too.
I love you. You know that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you for having me. Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. So, look, we have so many amazing things to get into because you're introducing something to the world that is very, very new. Something that a lot of us have not spoken about, especially in communities of color.
Yeah.
Now, it's been going on for a long, long time. We know our grandmothers, our mothers, our great-grandmothers, even our grandfathers were into these things that we're going to get into. However, we're just coming into the time frame where the world is ready to actually bring these things out of the shadows.
Right.
And really be honest about what goes on.
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
To start, how did you get into being a hypnotherapist?
So I like to share the story when I was 5 years old. Because if you had told me I was going to be a spiritual hypnotherapist even 10 years ago, I would have been like, say what now? Because it wasn't something that came across my mind at all. Even when I discovered the word, I had never even considered it. But I like to start with my spiritual awakening that was at the age of 5. Basically, I was in church. I was raised in a Christian household. My family went to church with my cousin's father, who was a pastor. And so, we all went to his church. I would go every day, back in the day, you would go 4 or 5 times a week. And one particular day, I'm in church like I always am, and it was almost like a switch, like a light went off, like something changed. I call it my spiritual awakening. And where no longer am I just sitting there like looking at what's happening, but now I'm beginning to observe and be aware of what's really happening and wanting to understand what's really happening. So when I say what's really happening, meaning, you in a Black church in the South. So we got catching the Holy Ghost, speaking in tongues, all of that, all those things. And, watching my parents, not my parents, but my aunts who would, like I say, catch the Holy Ghost, speaking in tongues. I was just, for some reason that day, I just wanted to understand like what's really happening. Like, I know that this is real. I feel it's real. I don't feel like they faking. Like, there's something to this, and I want to know what it is, and I want to feel what they are feeling. I want to be connected. Like, I want to feel like they tell me, this is God. I want to feel some of that because I ain't never felt no God before. And so I'm sitting there, 5 years old, and I'm just studying, just watching everybody. And I'm trying to figure it out. And my little 5-year-old brain says, well, maybe they're just making it up. Maybe that's how it starts. Maybe they got to fake it. And then when they start faking it, then it starts to happen. Again, don't judge me. This is my 5-year-old mind. So I say, okay, so I go up to the front where the pastor's praying for everybody. I get to the front of the line. He put the holy water on you, and then he does this little, to your forehead. And so I'm like, all right. So when I go up there, I got to do that. So I get to the front. He does that. And I start jumping, hooping and hollering, screaming. And then I fling my little self to the floor. And then I'm laying there, and then I feel them come place the little white blanket over me. And I'm laying there, and I'm just waiting for something to happen, and then nothing's happening. I'm like, yeah, this ain't it. This can't be it right here. So from that moment, I've always had like a really deep desire to connect with Source in a way. And that, also at that moment, it's like I had an awareness, and I couldn't explain that at that time. Like, if you would have asked me to explain that, I wouldn't have been able to explain it. But it's like I had a knowing that I was here to do something great, and that it was connected to my purpose, and it would have something to do with my spirituality.
I love that.
Right. So fast forward years later, going through, hardships, end up, of course, becoming a mom, 2 children, 3 children now, but at the time I was 3 children, and just going through a lot of hardships, depression, just not being in a space where I wasn't where I wanted to be in life, where I thought I was supposed to be, and just going through the worst, like the works. And I remember discovering I'll tell this story real quick. So I was homeschooling my children for a couple of years, and I'm walking through the library one day, and there's this book that's like facing, you know how you walk in the library and all the books are supposed to be sitting up nice on the shelf. Yes. Well, this one book is like sticking out this way. Yeah. And so I know it's spirit, but I always say it, the mommy and me, but it was both. So something tells me, flip the book up. Yeah. When you walk through, because it's in my path. So I, walk the path. I always walk. Flip the book up. Something says, spirit says, but read the title of the book. I read the title of the book, and it's Many Lives, Many Masters. Oh, wow. And I'm like, So I take the book off the shelf, and I'm looking at it, and I was like, this sounds interesting. Yes. Because by that time, I had already become aware of, like, hypnosis and stuff. And I used to think, like, oh, no, these people probably just, like, the hypnosis for entertainment. You see them do, like, barking like dogs. Yes. I'm like, they probably paying these people to do this. This ain't real. Yeah, it ain't real. They faking. Right? Yeah. And so I was aware of it, but didn't know much about it. Yes. But I was, at that moment, I was on my spiritual path of, just like, bettering myself. So I was doing a lot of work. I had been doing a lot of shadow work before it was known as shadow work, before it became popular. Yes. And at that point, I was just really focused on myself and, homeschooling my children. And I always say I'm grateful I found it when I found it, because before then I wouldn't have been ready. Like, when you look back, everything that I've gone through in my life was preparation for the work that I'm doing now. Yes. And so, I remember having this one particular dark night of what I call a dark night of the soul, where this was years prior to discovering the work, where I literally went in my room, got on my knees, and I just started boohoo crying. Like, I don't know what I'm here to do. I don't know what you want me to do, but just, I need help. Just tell me what to do. I'll do it. And I said, use me. Use me. And I'm just, as I'm saying this, I'm like snot-nosed, boohoo crying, like ugly cry. Yes. And as soon as I said, use me, I got like this feeling, like this very warm, like a hug. And I heard a voice says, keep going. You're almost there. Like literally, like in the room. And it was, I still get goosebumps every time I tell the story. Because it's like, at that moment, I knew that was the voice of God. Like, I was like, oh, this is what this is. Yes. And I immediately started to like suck up my snot. Okay. And this big old smile over my face, because it felt so good. And the warmth felt so, it felt so good. And I was just like, okay. And from that moment, I just started getting downloads of what I needed to do moving forward. So I want to bring this back. Okay. So you were seeking the presence of God. You really wanted to know who God was at 5. Yeah. Was this the first experience that you really knew that you felt God? At that day? Yes. Yeah. And what age were you? I was in my 30s. Ooh. I think I was in my early 30s. Maybe 29, 28. I don't really recall right now. But yeah, I was... Yeah. So let me ask you, because I feel like I've had similar experiences. I grew up, obviously, in the Baptist church, in all the different Christian churches. Right. Grew up around prophets. It was always prophets around. My people went to prophets. My people went to practitioners on the low key to find out what was going on with them. It was always around me. And I had the same thing of, I wonder, is this stuff real? And the thing is, you would see people fall out with the Holy Ghost, but then after church, they was back to cussing people out. So it was just like... Right. Was you really filled with the Holy Ghost? And what's exactly. And why do you only get that when you go to church? Right. But then outside of church... There's really no evidence of this God that you say you serve. Right.
So me, I was like, I want to know for myself because it seems fake. Because it only happens in the church, but outside, everybody's life is horrible. They cussing people out, they fighting. And we both are from Florida, so it's just like
the drama.
So I remember at 8 being in my bed and just sobbing. And really being like, life is so hard. Like, life is so rough. I'm tired of this. What am I here for? And just like you said, at that age 5, where you couldn't really process what you were asking for, it kind of opened up the spiritual path for you to start getting primed for your destiny and start actually opening you up for the gifting that you would receive later in age with maturity. Because I didn't start coming into all of this until my late 20s. But that's because I was ready. In between, it was very much, I'm very religious, and then I'm not religious, but I'm not ready to fully step into my power because I'm scared.
That's fear, the hell of a drug.
And it's like, I've always been seeing these spirits, these shadow figures. I've always been knowing things and able to feel people and able to be in tune with nature, but I'm kind of scared of it,
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what do you feel like you had to let go? What do you feel like was the unveiling and the unscaling, the things that you actually had to let go, the limitations that you had to let go to fully reclaim your power, to be ready to step into this gift?
Let me tell you. All right, so let me go back to the story where the book just proved, because it's going to tie in. So I see the book, and then I just start reading every book that I could find with my hands on it. Then I stumbled upon these videos on YouTube with this woman, and she's doing sessions that are similar to the ones that I do. And I was just so obsessed with these videos that I would watch them every day, morning, noon, night. I'm making breakfast in the morning, I'm watching the video. Afternoon, lunch, watching the video. Making dinner, watching the video. To the point where I would be showing my husband, like, look at this one. And initially it started off, I was like, I don't know, this lady might be same thing, right? And then it got to the point like, nah, they can't be making this shit up. This is crazy, right? And so I would maybe watch it for a good year. And then one day, I'm in the kitchen at my in-laws' house, and we're making dinner. And my husband says to me, you'd be really good at this. You should learn to do it. And I was just like, up until that moment, I had never even considered it. Never, not a thought. And when he said it, it was like, wait a minute now. I'm intrigued. That would be awesome. But then it was like, yeah, nah, I can't do that. Yeah. And it was because the fear of, what are my parents going to say? My parents are going to disown me. Yes. No, I can't do that. Yeah. And
they're going to think I'm practicing witchcraft and I'm demonic.
Yeah, you messing with these spirits, talking to spirits and stuff. We don't do that. What you mean? Right. So I was just like, yeah, nah. But then I still couldn't shake it. So I remember going to sleep that night and being like, in that space between wake and asleep.
Yes.
And I get a lot of my messages from spirit there. And I remember just tossing back and forth, just like with the thought, all I kept hearing over and over, and my husband like, you'd be great at this, you'd be great at this. And then at the same time, I'll be hearing myself say, my parents are going to disown me. Yeah. And then, so I'm in that space, and then I heard spirit come through and says, listen, you have been asking to be led to what you're here to do. You've been asking for, your purpose, what you're here to do. You're being led to it, and now you're afraid to walk in it because you're scared what somebody else is going to think. Yeah. You cannot live for other people. You can't do that. And as soon as Spirit said it, I was just like, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And literally, Spirit was just going on, and I call it cussing me out, but not cussing me out, but, stern.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, I can't live for nobody else. I've been talking about, going through it for years, just wanting to find my purpose here. And this might be it, and my ass is scared to do it. And so I was just like, fuck it. I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. And if they disown me, well, I just got to deal with it. And maybe they'll get over it. And if they don't, then I'll be okay.
It's so interesting. Because when I think about even with myself, anything that I've been hesitant to do it's always because of what will other people think. Even with me, like, coming out and being more public and centering myself more. Oh, well, they gonna think I'm stuck up. Oh, they gonna think, oh, she got where she came from. Oh, they gonna want to ask for some money, which the answer is no. Oh, who she thinks she is. Yes. Oh, she seemed like, she's lost, a lost soul. Every single thing, even from getting a divorce and relocating and starting a business it was always, what will other people think? Yeah. And women don't realize how much seeking other people's validation stops us and limits us so much in life.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And
you got to come out of that. And a lot of my clients are dealing with the same situations of like, I don't know what is this person going to think, or what do people think? And a lot of people, you talked about being afraid of your gifts. When I tell you, so many of them come to me and they're like, they have these gifts and they're like, I don't know what to do with it, and I'm scared of them, and how do I use them, right? And we're in a session, we go through all of that, find out where's this fear coming from, what is it? And a lot of it is because, family. Oh, my parents, they knew I had this gift and they told me to pray it away. Yeah. Or, they said, we don't do this, or they, a lot of suppression, you know what I mean?
Even ancestral.
Yes.
Yeah. And even, it's not even just the gift, it's the gifts. Even the beauty of a woman, because to me, that's a gift.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to me, it's a spiritual gifting, because we know beauty is an aura thing. It's not just the physical features. Right. But I remember I had a session, and a lot of stuff came up of, the ancestors, the women that came before me, didn't feel safe practicing, telling these gifts, right, showing these talents, or even really showing their beauty, because you show these things and either you're demonized, you're taken advantage of. If people see how beautiful you are, they're going to want to rape you. They're going to want to molest you. So we have to basically keep you small and hidden. If they see how talented you are, they're going to demonize you, or they're going to overuse you and abuse you. Right. So it was almost a protective mechanism for many women that came before us, because it wasn't a safe environment and culture for them to be out so visible. But it's like, we're on an epigenetic level, we're carrying that forth.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you said that. The epigenetics. That's real.
Yes.
That's so real.
Hey, can we explain that for the people who don't know what we're talking about?
Well, epigenetics is just, and I was telling my husband, like, I would love to study this more. But epigenetics is just trauma that's been carried down from generation to generation, like 100.
Yes, and it's literally within the cells.
Right, within the cells.
Within the DNA and the cells, you can literally carry this trauma forth. And they've even studied it in animals where, for instance, let's say a dog or something had a really bad incident with falling off a cliff. Right. Their babies will now have this fear of cliffs. Right. So it's like this trauma can be energetically passed down. Yeah. And when we talk about that, I mean, it makes sense, because just like giftings, spiritual giftings, your features, all of this blueprint is passed down from your family. Right. People don't realize, like, those behavioral things are also passed down. Mm-hmm. So if your people are angry, like, I come from angry people. You come from angry people. You from Florida. My people is killers. Yeah. My great grandma got a mugshot online as we speak. Listen. I don't like to bring it up because my mom be sensitive about it. But, she shot somebody.
Listen,
but
my husband will tell you, listen, we probably from the same family, okay? Probably. Because my grandma, my father's mother, was on that.
Yes.
Like, yes. Shot a couple folks, shot at kids. Listen.
They practice her.
She said it.
But my thing is, every day, I am fighting not to be a thug. And it's in the blood. It's in the warriors are in the blood.
It is. Oh my God. It's so funny because, I'm a Gemini. A lot of people, they talk shit about Geminis all the time. But it's true. We either here or we there. And I'd be like, I'm trying to keep this one at bay. Don't make me go over here, okay? I'm trying to be compassionate. And this work has made me so much more compassionate. But don't make me be the other twin. I don't want to bring her out because
Exactly.
she don't know how to control herself sometimes.
Exactly.
She'll lose control.
Exactly.
So yeah.
I'm like, look, let me be Jessica Divine. Because you can get J-Dog.
Oh, okay. J-Dog. I love that. I'm like, J-Dog.
So just like where the giftings are passed down, the features are passed down, the trauma can be passed down. And it's on us to actually transmute that and clear that.
Absolutely.
So yes, ma'am. So I want to talk about more of your hypnotherapist sessions. What do you see what do you see that's consistently needing to be cleared?
Ooh, child. The biggest thing, and I was shocked when I started this work. I didn't realize it was like that. And I always say it's an epidemic. It's sexual trauma.
Oh, Jesus.
Like not just the women, the men too.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not just, when I say that, meaning, it's not just the men who are taking advantage of the women. It's the women who are taking care of the men. But usually when they're little children, of course. Like, when I tell you, I have clients come in and we are going through memories from their childhood when they was 2 years old.
Yeah.
And someone is doing the most.
Yeah.
Where they're, and that's probably the biggest thing. And in my sessions, like, the thing is, a lot of people come in, they're expecting something particularly, like they think we just deal with past lives. I'm like, no, boo. Yeah, we're gonna go to a couple, maybe a past life or two, but we're gonna deal with that childhood trauma too that comes up because they're not expecting it. And a lot of times they think that they're over it, like, oh, I dealt with it, or they think because they swept it under the rug and they don't come. Oh no, boo. Yeah, it comes up, and when it comes up, we gonna deal with it. And I always say, of course, we're gonna do everything with the purpose. So we're not gonna let it, like, if it comes up, we're not gonna just
let it fester.
Right. We're gonna
clear it.
Exactly. We're gonna clear it. So we're exploring that memory, what emotions and beliefs are connected to that memory, and how those emotions and beliefs have been running your life without you even really realizing it.
So, okay, I love that. I love that you mentioned that. And I guess epidemic is the right word for it because I don't know too many people who haven't been sexually violated, men and women. And specifically for men, it goes unspoken because they're almost socialized to think that it's normal. Mm-hmm. It's not normal behavior. A grown woman. Exactly. It's not normal or acceptable for an older teenage girl or grown woman to sexually molest or be sexual with a child. I don't care if it's male or female. And I know so many men, and I really think that this is why being hypersexual and confused sexually is so prevalent amongst men, is because they learn from an early age to not value or respect their body or their choices when it comes down to their sexuality. They're just socialized to respond. Right. And if it's a woman and she's some way attractive, I just respond. Because this is what we do. So they don't even see it as sexual violation. I know so many men of, oh yeah, I lost my virginity at 8 to my babysitter that was, 45. Sir, you were molested. And you don't realize how it's running a lot of things in your life and why there's so much confusion and you don't value yourself and you feel like your body is disposable and you don't really have sovereign and full acceptance of your body because you've been taught that, right. People just have their way with me. But yes, age 8 too. Sometimes it's not always the older women. Sometimes it's children that are their age as well. This is true. So you have that. That's why we say in a Black household, or at least my house or my family, we don't do sleepovers because we don't know who's there, who's coming and going. But a lot of times, sometimes it's the siblings. Yes. Sometimes it's a cousin. Sometimes it's and like, just a couple of years older. And why are they doing it? Because it was done to them and they don't understand, I'm not supposed to do this. Or they're responding to feeling, hopeless or disempowered. And they're trying to get that power back by thinking that if I do this to someone else, I can reclaim my power. So it's so interesting because I feel like anytime people usually repeat whatever has happened to them. Absolutely. It's generational. if they're not self-aware, they will go on these power dynamics by doing the same thing to somebody else that has happened to them to try to reclaim their power, right? Now, I have another philosophy about this where I feel like that is one part where it's just the human side. But then I feel like it goes into the spiritual aspect where if you're open, very open to this behavior, let's just say of molesting, you've been molested, now you're open to molesting others. Spiritual attachments can also come in and kind of amplify.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's almost how they procreate.
Yeah.
Or not even procreate, but transfer.
Yeah. The thing with attachments, spiritual energy attachments, is they are able to attach because you're vibrating at the same frequency as them. You're dealing with anger, fear, sadness, shame, guilt, whatever, all those lower vibrational frequencies. And a lot of times those energies, usually often, spirits who never went to the light and go on, and they're dealing with their own trauma or regrets from that life that they've never dealt with. And so they see you come along at the same energy, frequency, and so it's easy. They just walk right on in, like, okay, well, let me see what I can get done over here.
Yes.
And when they come in, not only do they attach, but they bring their own issues with them too. So they might amplify whatever you're going through, or they might bring in other things on top of that. Sometimes it's manifests as pain, physical pain in certain parts of the body, depending on where they're attached, because they can attach to any part of the body, as well as your auric field as well.
Yes.
And so it can manifest in many different ways, from habits that you haven't had before, that suddenly all of a sudden, I don't know why I have this addiction to this or that. And then sometimes, like I said, sometimes it's pain, sometimes it's, other emotional issues like we talked about. But they bring their own issues. And one thing I love, that when I'm in a session with a client and I come across one of these energies, I kind of understand, like, what are you getting out of this? Because I'm not only helping my client, but I'm also helping their soul too, right? A lot of the work that I do, I'm helping these souls. And sometimes, I come across even energies that aren't even attached. They're like in the room, in the space.
Yes.
And they're like, it's like they saw an opportunity to come forward, like, I need help. And I help, send them to the light. Yeah. But these energies are around, and when you are vibrating on this plane of suffering and all these low vibrational energies connected to that trauma, they will walk in easy as pie, and you wouldn't even know it.
Well, and the crazy thing is, I've actually experienced some of this. Actually, it was kind of, maybe was it last year? So, my ancestors, and even the living people, they be angry. If somebody do something to you, you gonna get your lick back. By the time, you gonna become like the God of the Old Testament. The fleas on the dog ain't gonna be left over after you done. They gonna have to just restart the bloodline over. The DNA is actually scratched out, Yeah. I had a situation where I was just in so much rage, and I'm very energetically potent. I'm intense. So I'm intense in just almost everything I do. Joy, happiness, but rage and anger, it can just conjure up. And I turn into like the warlord of the demonic armies. When I say the angels ride with me, it includes the fallen ones. Exactly. And I remember I was in such a rage. I was like, ancestors, I'm going to need somebody's head.
Do what you do.
I'm going to need somebody's head. Immediately. And I remember going to sleep with that energy. And I literally woke up. I was in the in-between. And I felt a big energy, attempting to like merge with me. And I knew, I could discern, this is that war, that this is something attached to that. And my higher self was like, you see this, right? And you feel like how it felt like it was almost pulling. And it was like, you can open yourself up to this, or you can release and let things be handled how they need to be handled without you carrying the charge. Because people don't realize with energy work and stuff like that, you can use your own life force. Or you can kind of go to a higher consciousness where everything is going to be handled accordingly without you putting in your own life force.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it was like, do you feel this, right?
You really want to do that?
And girl, it felt, and it was like literally in the corner. It was in the corner of my room, like diagonal from me, but I could feel it like trying to merge. And I was like, let me get up and cleanse. And let me really speak to myself and release and click. Cause no, this is not what we gonna be on. Right, we could, but no, we're not. You know? So people don't realize you're given a choice. And a lot of people, because they're so unaware, they don't realize when they're given permission and when they're not. So let's talk about that.
Because you give it, even in your indecision, you're making a decision.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, it's like, all right, so give an example you talked about with yourself, right? You could have decided, you know what, I'm just going to let this energy in. Yeah, I know what I'm doing, I'm going to let it in. But in doing so, now, not only, you might get your leg back, but how else is this energy going to come in and fuck up your life? Like, what is it going to do?
Mm-hmm. Right? It's going to feed. It's going to feed.
It's going to feed. And you may not be able to control how it's going to feed because you've given it permission.
Exactly.
So, you got to be careful about the decisions that you're making. I'm the person where I'm just like, I'm going to let spirit handle you because I know they're going to handle it.
Exactly.
I'm not about to stress myself out over that. I'm good. Because, yes, child.
Sure, but sometimes, spirit be handling, but sometimes you want to get your kick in.
You be want to see. I be want to see. Can I see? Just let me see.
I just want to get a look. I just want to get a lick in.
Yeah, you want to.
But it's just like, my higher self has always told me, that's not your job.
Yeah.
You got angels and you got people to handle that. You get on your throne and you focus and do what you need to do.
Right.
And you just move with discernment.
Right.
And I remember having a dream because when you grow up, especially down south, and you're dealing with this type of stuff, and you're kind of like a black sheep, right? Mm-hmm. You're gonna have people that they don't really understand you. They don't really like you. You're a weirdo. What are you talking about? So you grow up kind of having to be tough, having to learn how to fight. Whether that's with your words or your hands, have to learn how to be alone, have to learn how to really bring that warrior up in you where you're resilient. Right. So, with that, I've realized, and I'm trying to think about even why I brought all this up. But, okay. So the dream I had, because I've been in this warrior state for so long, I remember there was like some people in like this garage. There was a lot of people in this garage, and they was getting the guns and things ready. We was preparing for war. And when the garage opened and we were getting ready to go out, somebody said, "Hey, okay, it's time for you to go upstairs." I said, "What y'all mean? We going to ride out on them?" They said, "No. You ain't in this no more." They said, "You need to go and sit on your throne. That's where you're supposed to be. You've done enough of this. We got you. We always carrying you. You go sit on your throne. We got somebody to escort you." So they had to take my hand and I had to go sit on the throne. Mm-hmm. And I had to learn, like, you don't need to be in that. You had to be in a time period to learn how to be resilient, to learn not to seek other people's validation, to learn how to have discernment, and to actually see the raw world for what it is. So you wouldn't be in an illusion about people and spirits.
Absolutely.
But now you're moving from that to a higher calling where we just need you to be, and we need you to move in what we tell you to move in, and be in your queen state.
Right. I love that because, everybody has their purpose here, their lessons that they came here to learn. And sometimes part of that lesson might be for you to be that warrior. You know what I mean? Yeah. But in this life, they're like, nah, you've done that before, and we need you to. This is a different lessons that you're here to bring. So those people that are here for that space, they might come with that warrior energy, and sometimes they're used as learning tools for you to see, okay, if I do this, this is what can happen, or don't do that. Like, you know what I mean? So absolutely, everybody has their space and their place, their lessons that they're here to, I always say, to teach, to bring in some form or fashion. And, let people have that. Like, but when you know that, hey, that ain't why I'm here, I got to calm my ass down. Yeah, it's in me. Because it's funny because my particular, when I did a past life regression, I had one, of course. And I was this man named James, and back in I think the 30s, 40s, I can't recall. And I was in the deep south. So the session or the life starts at the beginning. Well, not the beginning. Okay, so this is what happened.
Yeah.
The first scene of that life, I'm standing on the side of a road, dirt road, and there's just woods on each side of the road. Up the street to the left is like a gas station. In front of me is my brother. I just knew it was my brother. And he's underneath the car or the whatever, one of those old trucks, fixing the car. I just knew like the car was broken. He's fixing it. But I'm standing on the side of the road. I'm dressed up with this nice little, kind of like a vest, like a tux, some corduroy pants, some nice, real nice shoes. And I'm standing there and I'm just like looking at him. And at the same time thinking, why am I not under here helping him? But that passed through and I just was like, okay, whatever. All of a sudden up the street comes another car filled with a bunch of Caucasian folks, guys, and they come start yelling at my brother. Mind you, they just yelling at him. I'm standing right here. I'm looking at like, why are they not yelling at me? Why they only yelling at him? They don't see me? Anyway, they're yelling at him, and basically I start getting really nervous because I realize this is a sundown town. And they're saying, nigga, get the fuck out of here. You better not be down here when the sun goes down. And so I'm super nervous, and I'm like, yo, we got to go. We got to go because the sun's about to go on down. And I kept looking at this gas station to the left up the street, thinking, why don't we just go there? And something said, you can't go there. And I'm like, okay. So we end up leaving, walking on foot, going back to the house. All right, flash forward to the next scene. This little boy who is on outside at night in front of this cabin, this house, like this cabin, old wooden house. And I'm sitting on a tree stump. And I'm looking all far off into the woods, waiting for my father. I just knew, okay, he's supposed to be here. It's late. He ain't come here yet. What's going on? Long story short, he ended up coming, does one of those little, hey, kid, we go in the house, we eat. Flash to the next scene. Long story short. I'm a 27-year-old man. We're at the table, we're eating. All of a sudden, these guys pull up outside as we're eating, and they start like yelling all kind of names that they named back then. And my father goes outside and they're calling him all kind of niggas, this, that, and the other. I'm like fuming because I want to go outside, but my dad's telling me no, I'll stay inside with my mom and my little brother. I decide I'm gonna go outside anyway. I go get a shotgun and I go stand out on the porch, and I'm like letting them know like it's like, what's up, whatever y'all on, we on. And the guy gets upset, and he's like, all right, we'll be back, da da da. He leaves, and next scene, I'm in the house that night. It's the same night, and I'm looking out the window and I see a bunch of KKK people coming through the woods to our house. They're burning across. And so I immediately jump up and I'm waking everybody up in the house. My mom and my little brother, we put them in a closet towards the back of the house. And me and my dad go outside, and the guys threatening, yeah, we're gonna hang somebody. So as he's saying he's gonna hang someone, he's pulling a rope from the back of the truck. And I'm just like, oh hell no, like you're not about to fuck with my family, no. And so I got the shotgun and boop, I shot one of the dudes that was in the truck, and the other one loses. Oh my God, you shot my brother, you shot my brother. Da, 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 da. So I'm just like y'all talking about y'all about to hang my family. That ain't about to happen. Like we gonna do like what's up? Yeah. So long story short, he takes his shotgun and he's like this, like in my most to be my dad, and then boom, shoots my dad, and I lose it. Yeah. I mean, I lose it. Like screaming, crying. Yeah. And then I just like I was like, okay, all right, it's wartime, and I just started shooting everybody, and then they shot my ass up. They shot, You might
be my family.
So I realized at the end of that life that I was standing on the side of that road because I was already dead. I had died. I was wearing what I was buried in. Oh, wow. And it was funny because before that, they showed me another scene of me at a funeral, and I couldn't figure out why. Like, why I'm at a funeral? Whose funeral is this? Now all I could think about was my mom, my mom, my mom. No, it's not her funeral, but why I keep thinking about my mom, my mom? Because I left her and my brother, and I felt horrible about leaving them. And so in this life, I'm very much protective of them in that way. My family too. Like, I would die by my family. And so I know it's, carrying certain energies from past lives into this life. I have to remind myself, that was your life then. You gotta be peaceful here. Like, you got things you gotta do. You can't just go popping off on people, So, yeah, that's just an example I talk about, everybody having their purpose and, certain lessons in each lifetime that they have to adhere to, and knowing what that is can save you a lot of heartbreak and turmoil,
Yes. Okay. Whew, that was jam packed. First of all,
I know it's a lot. I know,
but it was good. It's interesting. I've never had a past life regression. However, I love. I'm a herbal girl. I love the plants. So during some plant medicine ceremonies with ayahuasca, I've been able to see myself in different dimensions. And I've been able to talk to, different ancestors. And when I was within the medicine, I was actually able to like physically see these spirits. Like I'm looking at you, I see a spirit. And I was able to really get the ideal of, oh, okay, they got all type of spirits. They don't just have, demons and angels. Like, no, they got little spirits that just like to play instruments. I remember when I was in the rainforest of Brazil, I was there for 2 weeks, and we had 3 different ceremonies. They had a band, and it was the tribal people. They had a band where they would play the instruments during the ceremonies, and everybody would drink the ayahuasca. Literally, they would play from 9 p.m. all the way to like 9 a.m. By 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock a.m., the music it started beautiful, but it got just ethereal. What I was able to see underneath the medicine is there were spirits that knew how to play those instruments, and they were waiting for the musicians to be open energetically so they could literally like go within and they just wanted the chance to play them instruments. They loved it. So they would literally wait for that opportunity.
Wow.
And I was just like, what? And so 2, 3 a.m., the music was rocking. Because why? Because you got somebody that's been here for 6,000 years, actually manning this instrument now. I just got to see just other spirits, just regular little spirits that they just, I just want a chance in the body for a couple of minutes, until it's time for me to get put out. I was able to see so many things. And one thing I also realized about me is, you're not just this human. Like, this is really just your avatar. This is your vessel. It lasts us a good, 70 to 120 years if you take care of it. But the real you is that infinite being. And one thing it made me realize, this is not your first time. You've been here many times, Jessica. And I'm going to tell you, even when it comes down to me showing up in the world, that infinite part of me is like, we tired of your human excuses. We understand that you're human, but we also are infinite. We are this soul part, and this soul part wants to experience a certain type of thing. So your human experience cannot overtake your soul experience. So it's like, we tired of your excuses. We know you don't been through some stuff. We don't send you to see the people and talk to them. We tired of the excuses. Like, we here to do big things, and we ain't gonna even let you get in the way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Because, in my sessions too, there's like a part of the session where we will connect with the spirit guide. And the guides, like you said, they have their own personalities. Some of them give it to you raw. And a lot of times my clients are hearing things that they don't want to hear. Like, listen, I've had some guys come in pissed off, like, oh, why am I even here? Because she already know. We done told her, but she don't listen.
Yeah.
Right? Or some of them will come in and they're like, you're focused on the wrong thing. This is what I need you to do. Stop the bull. Like, and they will give it to you raw. And I've even had some clients go back and forth and they're arguing with the guy. And I'm like, don't do that. Just stop. That's not what we hear. Wait, let them finish. They'll tell you why they saying, well, I don't agree. I didn't ask you if you agree. Let me talk to them real quick.
Yes.
And we'll have that conversation later.
Yes.
So yeah, a lot of times we will fight things because we want to, well, for one, we have our own agendas of what we think we're supposed to be doing and or what we want to do. And a lot of times it's based on, making somebody else happy, pleasing other people, or just fear of certain things. Yeah. And it's like, no, that's not why you're here. Like, we need you to do X, Y, Z. And in order to do that, you're going to have to let this go. You're going to have to let that person go. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. So trusting your guides is really big, especially when, and it's like, sometimes, I have a client, they're like, well, they said this, but they didn't really tell me X, Y. Like, they didn't tell me the fullness of what I wanted to know. Like no, they told you.
Yes. But
what did they say? X, Y, Z. Oh, well, they said that, but they didn't say they want I want a step by step A, B, C. Give me each step of the blueprint. And the Spirit's like, we're not doing that. Exactly. That this is part of the reason you're here. Like, if I give you all the answers to the test, it ain't a fucking test no more. Exactly. So you're in the school of life. You're here to learn lessons. So I'm gonna give you some tools. I'm gonna give you some guidance, but I ain't gonna just hand it to you like that.
Exactly. Because you wouldn't even listen anyway.
No. So yeah, it's like you got to be aware of, like you said, that we are spiritual beings having a human physical experience. We're here to evolve, and there's certain lessons in your life that you're here to learn, and through those experiences you learn those lessons. Yes. But trying to control it or suppress it because of different things, that it doesn't help you. That's part of what throws your life in chaos. So. Yeah,
it does. So, and the interesting thing is, so many people, oh, well, when I'm supposed to do next, I'm so lost. And it's like, because you've ignored your intuition, your higher self, your spirit guide, these things have been speaking to you, but because they haven't been saying what you want or what you're comfortable with,
you doubted it.
You doubted it. So when they're telling you, hey, do this, take this opportunity, talk to this person, start this, and you really have the unction. I should be doing that, but no, what are they going to think? Right. Or, I don't want to be in front of the people.
Right. Excuses.
And people don't realize when you ignore your intuition, your higher self, and your spirit guides, eventually they stop talking to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had guides leave in the middle of a session. Like, I'm done. And I'll be like, Lord, apologize. Do you want the answer to these questions or no?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, apologize and then tell them you're ready. Tell them come back.
Yes.
And they've apologized and they come back like, okay. And they'll be like, all right, so you ready now? Like, you gonna listen or no?
Yes.
So, yeah, it.
And my thing is, people don't realize you're entertaining something. So if it's not your higher mind, your intuition, your spirit guides, then it's some other spirits that want to keep you lowly. Right. So it's the spirits that say, don't come out because they're going to think you demonic. Oh, you stupid. You can't speak. Nobody want to see you. Because people don't realize, it goes from just negative thoughts to now spirits that feed off of these low vibrational thoughts, that keep you in these low places, that keep feeding off of you being depressed and hidden away. So it's like, if you're not feeding what you actually desire and where you're actually being called to expand and grow, then you're feeding where you're being called to be stagnant and die and perish. They don't realize that.
Yep. Yep. Which lion you gonna feed?
Which lion you gonna feed?
Yep.
And my thing is, one thing I've realized is the more that you refuse your soul purpose, for me, I feel like I'm held at gunpoint. Because it's like, you do or you die. When I resist my soul purpose, my physical body will start deteriorating. My mental will start falling apart. Everything will start going downhill. Everything will get hard. Jobs that I thought was okay, now it's issues. And it's like, what? And so it's like, when I'm disobedient to my soul's calling and mission, things get really bad. And I see this in other people's life, and it's almost like, I'll just sit in the bed, let it get worse. And it's like, you hanging off the bone, baby. You are tender.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we like an oxtail, but we don't like when it fall off, the meat fall all off the bone. Because that's what that behind is
Yes,
on when you refuse to like really answer the call. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like bitterness and being miserable becomes your way of being. Mm-hmm. And then you got these spirit attachments that are feeding off of you. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, you're looking like a raisin. Isn't it so interesting to see people who follow their soul's mission, how they look so radiant in their 70s and 80s? And people who are so bitter and they feel like, oh, shoulda, coulda, woulda. They look shrunken up by the time they're in their 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
Yes. So let me ask you, the divine feminine, we know that a wave of women just being respected and women being called to the forefront and really to stand in their power is amongst us. Mm-hmm. Tell us more about that and what you've seen in your sessions. And even you have a Amazon #1 best-selling book. Like, tell us about how that intertwines into what we're going into. And are women the face of this new awakening?
I really feel like we are. Like, and that's part of why I wrote the book. It's called Shadow Work, Past Life, and the Spirit Guides, a journey of spiritual hypnotherapy to heal your soul, break through blockages, and align with your divine purpose. And it's because I wanted it to be a compilation of not just, sessions of not, real client one-on-one sessions, but I want it to be kind of like when people watch my channel, my YouTube channel, because, I got a YouTube channel over 300 videos of actual sessions with clients. And most of them are like more so around like the past life aspects of it and spirit attachments. But in the book, I wanted to make it more of like the personal trauma in the everyday life. I can't really show that on my channel because it's people's private stuff and I don't, So, but I wanted to be able to share that in a way that I could do it in a book, And a lot of it is surrounding their actual, like, the issues that they're dealing with in that life. Outside of, past life. Yeah, that stuff is in the book too. But the things that I know everybody, the woman of today can relate to. So, it deals with, being able to recognize when you have trauma, being able to recognize, different emotional blocks and things of that nature, or we call psychosomatic, issues that are influencing you or running your life, like I talked about, without you even knowing it. Being able to recognize, looking at someone else's story and say, that resonates with me and that sounds familiar. And yeah, the advice that was given here, yeah, the guidance that was given here, yeah, I need to let that go too. Yeah, like all those things, like being able to see that and feel a resonance to that, it usually is very inspiring for people and helps them to be able to move, through whatever they're going through. So for talking about the divine feminine, I feel like it is a really huge awakening of, we're talking about, we've been in the space and age of it's a man's world, right? Yes. But I think that women are awakening to, like, returning back to that divine feminine of like, no, this is like the women are at the forefront of being able to like make this world, make this space what it needs to be, like returning it back to its essence. Yes. Yeah. And I think a big part of that will be women just remembering who they are, letting go of shit that doesn't serve them anymore, and then really just walking into who they were meant to be and remembering that. But it's a process, you know what I mean? It's a whole healing journey. It's a journey, a life journey. And I always say healing is like an onion, you pull back one layer and there's another one there. So it's never ending. Yes. But being aware of, okay, there's some things that I let happen in my life. Yeah, this thing happened to me, but I don't have to allow it to define me. Yeah, this is happening too, but I can't control it. And I got to be okay with understanding I can't control it. Just all the stresses that we bring, in our lives or that come into our lives because of the culture and the environment that we're living with, especially in this country. As women, a lot of responsibilities that we have, we can sometimes get lost in that, and feel victimized by it versus taking and saying, hey, yeah, this is my situation, my circumstance, but I can overcome it by not only, understanding what I could do, the changes that I can make, but also, just being who I came here to be, like realizing my own power, my own strength, and walking in that. And I think, like I said, everybody's here to learn and teach each other.
Yes.
So if I step and walk into my divine purpose, I'm allowing the others that I'm here to help to do the same.
Ooh,
right?
Yes.
So it's like you're robbing yourself of that when you don't do that. You're robbing the world of that when you don't do that. So I think a big part of, like I talked about, people just remembering who they are, letting go of shit that doesn't serve them, and really walking in their path, their purpose in this life is going to be like the key to the women being able to, turn this thing around.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you talked about really when you show up and you allow yourself to be seen, other people are going to be watching and they're going to be inspired. Just like the lady that you was watching do the hypnotherapist stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like,
even when you didn't understand it and you was like,
yeah.
But, and that happened for me as well. And the funny one, I forgot her name, but she's very popular. But I used to watch her stuff back in the day. Shira. Because Shira 7.
Oh, okay.
She actually has a spiritual channel. Yeah, she has a separate spiritual channel. And I used to be watching, I just like, this is witchcraft. But I couldn't stop watching. And eventually, like, now I understand, like, because it's almost like an awakening of the goddess within. And that's why it's so necessary for women to really show up as themselves and authentic and in their power. No, everybody might not understand, but you're planting the seed that's meant to grow and ripen. Right. So I love that.
Yes. And everybody's not meant to understand because they got their own path.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, let them walk their path. It's not for you to try to convince people to come around and, to your side of things. Like, no, let them, they're on their own journey. And when they get to where they need to go, they'll be where they need to be. Yeah.
Whew, we've covered so much. First of all, we're going to have to come back for a second session. This was actually really good.
Yes.
This was actually good. And I love that you spoke about empowerment and really just reclaiming your sovereignty and your own power and your own gifting and your own boldness and autonomy and just showing up. Because it's like when you show up, everything that is rightfully yours can come to you. Yeah. So yes, so what would be the last words of motivation or encouragement? What would you tell to the viewers that are watching? Like what would you want them to know?
I'll say this. I think the world needs more compassion, right? And I think that's why everybody's running around stressed out, because everybody's going through things, and then you got somebody who else is probably going through something, and y'all come together, and then y'all feuding with each other. But I think the world needs more compassion. And in this work, I've learned to be a lot more compassionate than I already was. And I came to realize that everybody is only operating from what they're experiencing, what they're going through. So when you encounter somebody on the road, for example, and, they cut you off, the first thing you want to do is slip them off. But it's like, now you're just feeding into that energy. Number one, like, you don't know what that person's going through. They pissed off. They probably trying to pass on their energy to you so they can feel better. Because think about how many times you get into an argument with somebody and then you piss the next person off and then you feel better. Oh, I feel a little bit better. I don't pass that energy on to them. Yeah, I showed you.
Yeah, or the trauma dumping. Yeah, calling somebody, telling them everything, and they get off the phone. Now they feel bad.
Now they drained and, oh, Lord Jesus. They calling again. I ain't answering the phone. Right? But I think just showing compassion, knowing that everybody's operating from their space of what they're dealing with internally. Don't take nothing personal. Ain't nothing personal. Everything that the next person is going through, or how they respond to you, how they react to you, is just a reflection of what they're dealing with internally. So I try to remember that as I'm walking and every day and everything that I do. So when that other side of the Gemini want to come out, I gotta say, no, like, they probably just going through something. No, she got her place now. She know when to come out when it's just blatant disrespect, right?
Balance.
Right? Because I always say the last thing I want to do is be kind to somebody who wants to be cruel to me. And the last thing I want to do is be cruel to somebody who's being kind. But there's a balance. You got to know when and where, right? But yeah, just being more compassionate. It could take things up, like, the world can make things a lot easier for everybody. You know what I mean? Not trying to force things on people. You know what I mean? You know how many times I have people, like, in my DMs, oh, what you're doing is witchcraft and this, that, and the other, and you need to,
Repent.
deliver. Yeah, now rebuke you in the name of Jesus. It's like, lady, you don't know me. And a lot of times I just kind of laugh it off, and then send them on their way. But just being compassionate of not knowing what people are going through, because you don't know people, you don't know what they're dealing with, and just respect that everybody's going through something, and that you may not know about, the struggle that you may not be aware of. And so I always say, like, being kind costs nothing. Just be kind.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, look, this conversation was so lovely. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram if you're on the socials. I'm at Neoshi Hypno Soul Healing, or on YouTube as well. Like I said, I have a channel of over 300 videos of my client sessions. And everything's shared on that channel. Just an FYI disclaimer. My clients are aware. I got their blessings to share, and a lot of times their faces are blurred, and so for privacy. But so you can check out videos there. Or if you're looking for information or more about what I do, or sessions or anything like that, then you can go to my website, neoshihypno.com.
Okay, I love that. And your book on Amazon.
Yes.
They need to make sure they check that out as well.
You find the link on my website. I also do training. I'm training, and doing mentorship. I've had a lot of people reach out and say, you've inspired me to do this work.
Yes.
And so years ago, Spirit was just like, yeah, I need you to start training. And so I started doing that. But I do training from time to time, a couple times a year. And it's been rewarding. I didn't want to do it, but I love it now that I am doing it.
So where can they find out more about your training?
The website as well, neoshihypno.com.
Okay, now do you take everybody, or is it a selective process?
No, child. We got to go through a process. You can't just walk on there and just click by. There's an application process, and I do have like limited number of seats that I offer in every training, but I always let Spirit guide me when I'm deciding who to offer a seat to.
Okay, I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And before we end, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, which is going to be my own health and wellness brand, Herbal Renaissance, because healing can be delicious when you reconnect back to Mother Nature and just to your divine knowledge that's within. You'll realize that everything that you need to stay healthy, whole, and love, you have right around you. And this is why I created these products that are right directly from Mother Nature, because I want y'all to know healing can be delicious, and your body, your human experience is worthy of having the highest quality life. And you do that by good nutrition, good rest, doing what you truly are passionate about, following your intuition. So thank you to that. And ma'am, thank you. Neoshi, thank you so much for coming. I think this was we're gonna see if they're ready for this. This was a bit much.
Ready or not.
Exactly.
And can I say that iron hammer is bomb?
It's bomb?
Yes. I got my daughter on it too. And it helps me with my cramping. It helps with it helps me with the cycle, like shorter cycles.
I'm telling you. So before I get ready to start, I take the Iron Hammer and the Cell Foundation. It cuts it down to 3 days from 5 days. Breast tenderness is like, it doesn't even exist. Cramps go away.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to get that Cell Foundation.
Yes, it's that one that blue right next to you.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to get that one.
Now, tell them the teas. Tell them about the taste.
Oh, listen. You know how some teas you have to add a whole lot of honey.
Yes,
because the taste is just like, yes, baby.
Yes. I tell people, don't believe me because most teas on the market are bitter, but I tell them, I say how I created my blends. I created these blends for myself when I was healing myself. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to drink nasty stuff. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of herbs with all different taste profiles. Mm-hmm. So just like a chef, I put these things together where they're highly medicinal, but they're also a delicious experience. Mm-hmm. So when you're drinking them, it's like, oh, I look forward to this. I look forward to my body healing because this is that's why I say healing can be delicious.
Absolutely. And I sometimes drink it without any honey at all.
Because it's so smooth.
Yeah, it's so smooth.
Yeah, so I love that. And thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to have to come back for another session.
Yes, we will, Chica. Let me know whenever you're ready.
Yes. All right. Thank you all for joining us for another great episode of Divine Conversations. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you later. Bye for now.